Now let's get into the juicy stuff here. So Sam Bankman-Fried, we're going to get educated kind of together on exactly who this guy is, but I want to start with a thread from Peter Yang. So who is SBF, otherwise known as Sam Bankman-Fried, and how did he go from being crypto's savior to the man that brought $1 trillion industry to its knees? SBF was raised by two Stanford law professors and went to MIT. In 2017, he founded Alameda Research, a quant trading firm at just 25 years old. He made millions by trading on Bitcoin's price difference between Asia and the US. 2 years later, SBF launched FTX, which became a top 3 global exchange valued at $32 billion. The exchange's investors include Sequoia Capital, Paradigm, and Ontario Teachers Pension Plan. I'm from Ontario. So, like, do they mean, like, Canada, Ontario's teacher pension plan, or something else? Because if you don't know, within the Canadian education system, there's a lot of strikes going on with the education workers and all this kind of stuff. Add this to it, good golly, gosh, not the greatest time. All right, next up, SBF's personal wealth rose to $26 billion. He used this fortune to, 1, become the second biggest donor to the Democratic Party in 2021-22, host a conference with Tom Brady, Gisele, Bundchen, and other celebs. Plaster FTX all over cities and arenas and bail out crypto firms. Alas, the house of cards was destined to fall. Earlier this month, CoinDesk published a report that most Alameda's holdings were an FTT, a token invented by FTX. Soon after, CZ shares that Binance is selling all of its FTT token. And so this was kind of one of the original things that made the cookies crumble. Yo, okay, Rykath, awesome. Thanks, fam. So as part of Binance's exit from FTX equity last year, Binance received roughly $2.1 billion US dollar equivalent in cash, Binance US dollar, and FTT token. Due to recent revelations that have came to light, we have decided to liquidate any remaining FTT on our books. So looking back on November 6th, like, hot diggity damn. That was the day that the cookie really started to crumble. This led to a massive decline in FTT token price, making FTX insolvent. Binance considers bailing out FTX on November 8th and walks away one day later after looking at the books. I wonder why. The revelations come out like rapid fire. SBF claims that FTX and Alameda are separate entities. In reality, the whole operation was run by a gang of kids in the Bahamas. And just to add to this, I know a guy from the Bahamas. Shout out Bowen. That guy's crazy. Could have told you this was coming. The CEO of Alameda is a 28-year-old that FBF reportedly dated. Here is their penthouse with 10 roommates. Holy sheesh. According to Reuters, SBF secretly moved $10 billion in customer funds from FTX to Alameda. $1 billion of that is now missing, possibly due to a backdoor that was implemented in secret. Asked about the missing funds, SBF responded, What? Last night, millions of dollars started moving out of FTX to anonymous wallets. FTX claims it's a hack, but many are saying that it's an insider job. FTX has filed for bankruptcy and SBF has stepped down. The new CEO, John Ray III, was the lawyer brought on to clean up Enron. Ironically, Enron and FTX have the same mission statements. Enron Online becomes a system for traders designed by traders. Built by traders for traders. Billions of dollars have already evaporated, but this is far from over. Here are all the companies and funds that FTX and Alameda invested in. One of them, BlockFi, has already paused withdrawal. I think this debacle has caused permanent irreparable damage to crypto. It'll be a long time, maybe never, before people will trust this industry again. And then you can follow Peter Yang at his Twitter handle, which, I mean, I need to do. I just said to follow me, and look, this is... This video is from a guy called Bruce Fenton, an open letter to SEC Chair Gary Gensler. I've been in Bitcoin 9 years and have been registered and licensed securities professional for 30 years. I'm a FINRA registered principal and majority owner of an SEC registered broker. Let's talk SBF and FTX. Hope you guys find this valuable like I did.
So my video is to Mr. Gary Gensler of the SEC. I'm regulated by you. I've been regulated by the SEC for 30 years. My entire adult life, I've been regulated by the SEC. I'm a majority owner in a FINRA broker-dealer. I've been registered as a FINRA securities principal for over 25 years. Never had a regulatory issue, never had a customer lawsuit, and I've been in the crypto industry for 9 years. And what I would like to say, I think that you're in danger of losing your moral authority to regulate us, to regulate people like me in our industry, everybody. It's your job to keep the industry clean, but I think that these ties with SBF and your discussions and everything about it has to come to light. You talk about transparency. I'm doing a video right now. Everyone in our industry is doing videos right now. You do videos all the time for promotion. But where are you now? Where are you this weekend? You're not in the Clubhouse chats or the spaces, the Twitter spaces. Why not? What are you doing with the other 23 hours in the day? I know you have a lot of meetings and things, of course, but it's the weekend now. Where are you? Where is your transparency? I would like to hear about the relation. I'd like to hear about what happened in the meeting. A lot of us are talking about publicly about what dealings people had with SBF. What about you? You had a public meeting. You had a meeting with him. His general counsel was your former employee. The president of FTX Research is the daughter of somebody who I think was your boss at MIT or ran the department. Now, maybe there's nothing to these things. You meet a lot of people. We can't fault you for meeting somebody who's a scammer. We wonder if it becomes a pattern. You know, Bernie Madoff was head of the largest regulator. Bernie Madoff also donated a lot of money to politicians, including Hillary Clinton. And you, Mr. Gensler, were chairman of Hillary Clinton's finance committee, and Bernie Madoff donated to Hillary Clinton. And Sam and FTX employees donated over $11 million to the politician who appointed you. Again, that's fair game, but we are owed transparency, aren't we, Mr. Gensler? Are we owed at least this?
How much you want to bet he ain't going to address this?
Can you go outside and do a video like this, like I'm doing? Because we're frustrated, sir.
Did he spell it with an I or an E on the sir right there? That's the question.
I can't get a meeting with you. I've been in crypto 9 years. I'm a startup, and I can't get a meeting with you. I have questions. We have questions. Everybody, my colleagues, we want to know how this will work. We set out and did the work to be a broker-dealer. We got regulated. We haven't really been able to do it nearly as much as we would like because we can't even get clarity. You know, you are saying, oh, go get regulated. Well, we did. And then what? Well, it's a lot of gray area. It reminds me of third world countries, honestly. It's a lot of like, well, you have, but you can't quite. You can't quite do this. We can't get a straight answer. We can't get any answers at all. Apparently, Sam had a lot more access. And again, maybe that's reasonable. He had a big company. Of course, you're going to meet billionaire people. And if I tried hard enough, maybe little old me could get a meeting and get some actual answers on the things that. And we're a startup. You know, we're a venture-backed startup. You know, we need to get products to market. We would love to be issuing digital securities legally. I recognize that the securities were illegal offerings years ago because I've been in this business my whole life. I knew that the DAO was an unregistered offering, and that was the reason that I went down this road. I said, oh boy, SEC's not going to like that. That's definitely a violation. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it right. And I'm just one of them. It's not about me. I'm one of a million.
Do you want me to keep watching? Finish it?
There's
There's like 4 minutes left.
I have
I can move on. Let me know.
these things. I was able to avoid a lot of trouble because I knew that a lot of this was trouble. But there's a lot of other people who don't even have that clarity. They just can't understand. You know, my friend Eric Voorhees has said, can you just give us a list of what's a security or not? Just give us a list. Can you just do that? You must have it somewhere. Can your analysts, your people, your lawyers, all these people that we're paying, can't you just get a list? Just tell us. And that's a reasonable thing. I mean, I understand as a securities professional, it's a bit more complex than that. It's based on a definition and facts and circumstances and on and on. But the industry is really, really, really crying for some kind of clarity. And the situation now does not look good. It looks like
it does not look good.
It looks like a place where you get access and answers to questions based on favors and who you pay and this kind of thing. And who has, you know, Sam had all these doors. I know, I ran for Senate. Sam had all these doors open for him. He gave 30 million this term, 30 million last term.
Imagine getting 30 mil.
And said he might give $1 billion. He had more doors open for him in your backyard and in your own offices and throughout Washington, D.C. than probably anyone in modern history. And you know, the sad thing is that money that paid for that was stolen from investors. It's stolen from people. Your job's to protect investors. And no one will pay for this because it went through the PACs. At worst, the PACs will get a claw back on a bankruptcy and the PACs will go under. It'll never go back to the politicians.
Yo, what a bunch of crooks, eh? Jeez!
So we have skepticism when you claim the moral authority to regulate us. And we have to think about, is it working honestly? Bernie Madoff ran NASDAQ. He was chairman of NASDAQ, which is NASDAQ at the time included NASDR, which, as you know, became FINRA. It didn't work to stop Bernie Madoff. It didn't work to stop SBF. Maybe the market is the best regulator. Proof of chain.
Agree or disagree?
Proof of reserves on chain. You know, the kind of things that our industry is doing right now. Our industry has moved forward safety more in the last week than probably ever before. And
I mean, he's not wrong on that line, to be honest.
Regulators. What has kept investors safest over the last 10 years? A bunch of people on Twitter saying, not your keys, not your coins.
Let's go, baby!
A guy going down there to Washington, D.C., donating to politicians, and then pushing forth legislation just 2 weeks ago. Sam and his people were pushing forth legislation in Washington that was taken very, very seriously. And people were saying, well, it just needs more carve-outs and protections for DeFi. You know, this is an absurd situation. And if there's going to be a big upset for our industry, as everybody's talking about, oh, the hammer's coming down now, well, then there needs to be some soul-searching in Washington, D.C. as well. And so I would call on anyone involved in this, all the policymakers, all the politicians, Mr. Gary Gensler, and anyone else involved, I'd call on them for some transparency. Take your phone out, make a video just like I just did. I think we have a
Couple
right
seconds
to know
left.
that, especially those of us, those of you who are public employees. We pay for you. There's got to be a shakeup and there's got to be some soul searching, but it's got to start in Washington, D.C. as well.
Yo, triple banger. Yo, this Fenton guy, holy hell. Holy hell, he probably blew up. He blew up from that, 100%. For anyone that's into esports, here's one for you. TSM literally has their entire name as TSM FTX, and they still have it as TSM FTX. They've started putting tape over their jerseys for any games that they're playing, but the official word, along with the rest of the world, TSM has been closely following the situation surrounding FTX. We have no insight to the matter other than what has been reported publicly. We are currently consulting legal counsel to determine the best next steps to protect our team, staff, fans, and players. I don't know why it's just not obvious to take FTX out of your name, but I mean, what the hell do I know? I'm an idiot with a board ape. SBF starts parading a few months before FTX goes bust about the need to regulate DeFi front ends and cannot even articulate why.
The question was, let's acknowledge that the email protocol will be permissionless as a protocol.
Yep.
But it was the law of the land in America that every email front-end provider required KYC from its users.
Yep.
Because under the justification that we do not want people sending information back and forth with terrorists,
Yep.
Where would you stand on that position?
Oh, I'd be strongly against that position.
Why?
Why would I be against it? Because I think it'd be like against freedom of speech. I think it'd be disenfranchising a lot of people. I think I would not trust in practice that it would do a good job. So I agree with you on all of that.
Okay.
I'm making a distinction here between, for instance, payments versus like derivatives contracts.
Why is Aave somehow different than email?
So, why is it different than email?
You argued so well and so passionately to not block email with licensing and KYC. I loved hearing that.
Yep.
That filled my soul with joy. Such good arguments. Why does that not apply to financial transactions?
So, why does it not apply to financial transactions? I think there are a few things here. So, first of all,
yo, that's like absolutely wild. His $39 million penthouse, what the hell ever in the Bahamas, is up for sale. Like, imagine owning this kind of a spot. Holy sugar shit. Go outside, you got the ocean, all the crazy goodness. The day that this all happened, CZ was speaking at the 4th Indonesia FinTech Summit 2022, and he literally addressed everything that was going on, so this is pretty wild to watch.
I think the last 3 days is just a revelation of problems. The problems were there way longer, right? So like this problem wasn't created in the last 3 days. FTX is misappropriating user funds. They were taking user funds to do other things. The trigger was like a week ago. There was a CoinDesk article. My team says, well, hey, CZ, we still have a lot of FTT coins. Like what? Should we sell it? Sure, why not? So the next day, there was a big transaction reported by Where Alerts saying that like $580 million worth of FTT was transferred to Binance.com. It's like, yeah, sure, we should be transparent about it. And then he said, CZ, you should write a tweet because we don't, like what we call the interns, our PR team says we don't really know how to write this particular one. This is quite sensitive. So I was actually just going out to meet 2 of my friends. I was on my way out to meet with them, and then so I just wrote a tweet in a few minutes. But I wanted to explain like how do we?
This guy's just
one,
like
right? So we can't just have $580 million.
This guy's just going out for food with his buds, taking an Uber, and he's like, "Hold on, let me crash the entire industry."
We got it as a transaction of our exit. Equity exit out of FTX a year and a half ago. 24 hours later, Sam calls me and says, hey, CZ, can we talk? I thought he was going to do an OTC deal, right? I thought he was going to ask, hey, CZ, why don't we do an OTC deal? Then we can put all the negative comments out, then confidence is restored. I thought he wanted to do that. But instead, he just said, look, we have much bigger troubles. I said, look, we don't want users to be hurt. And we want to protect the users. From our perspective, the deal did not make sense from a number of fronts. From a financial perspective, is a big hole. From new users, FTX, we have very high overlap. We cover all the regions they cover.
Yeah, I would figure that.
And they have much less users than us. From a technology or product perspective, I think we have a superior product. They don't have anything that we don't have. As soon as I understood we couldn't touch it anymore, I said, let's make that announcement as quickly as possible because we don't want to do a slow no. If we're going to do a no, we do a quick no. Uncertainty is actually worse than negative news. So when the news is out, everybody knows.
That's a quotable line right there.
So we said, look, let's announce it as quickly as possible.
So here's a clip. It's less than 2 minutes from Michael Saylor talking about all the stuff regarding SBF.
He was using counterfeit money and stolen money to lobby against all the virtues in the industry, against proof of work, against Bitcoin. He was working to corrupt regulations, corrupt the political process, right? When you have actors that use corrupt, counterfeit stolen money in order to undermine the industry, it's not good for anybody. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that people need to decipher this. FTX, generated an FTT token. If you trade your own token on your own exchange with wash trading, with leverage, you can park the price at any number you want. So you want to make $1 billion, you jack the price by $3 by wash trading with yourself. Then you generate $1 billion of collateral. Then you look for a bank that'll loan you money against the collateral. And of course, nobody in their right mind should be loaning money against an air token that you manipulated yourself. But of course, Sam happened to be the CEO of a bank that made loans. So he applied for a loan from his own bank and he granted it to himself. And then he took real assets,
that's wild,
like Bitcoin, from his honest customers. And then he rehypothecated them, traded them, lost them. And so this is just an egregious ethical lapse, and it can't go on. These exchanges cannot continue to be unregistered, unregulated offshore.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's Sailor's take on it, which is holy sweet mother of pearl, you know what I mean? Holy sweet mother of pearl is what we are talking about.
I look like you want me to, and I can't tell what's true, cause my world's made up of fake news, yeah. I'm realigning every facet of the space I'm in. I'm customizing all the curves that give the shape I'm in.